welcome to The Explainer. So what if the government just gave your newborn a $1,000 gift? I'm not talking about a check, but a seed that could grow into a six-figure nest egg. Well, guess what? That's not a hypothetical anymore. If you're expecting a child between 2025 and 2028, you're going to want to stick around because we're about to break down a new program that could fundamentally change their financial future. Okay, let's really get into this. For the first time in modern history, the federal government is basically giving newborns seed money to invest. And look, this is so much more than just a one-time check. It's about creating a powerful, tax-advantaged account right from day one. We're talking about a head start that was, frankly, unimaginable for most families until now. So $1,000, that's the magic number. It's a one-time, totally tax-free deposit into this special account designed to kickstart your child's long-term wealth. I know what you're thinking. $1,000? That's a nice stroller, but it's not life-changing. Well, as we're about to see, you'd be wrong. Very wrong. So the big question is, how does this all actually work? And who even gets in on it, right? The government isn't just mailing out cash. They've built this brand new, really powerful type of account. And believe me, the real magic is hidden in the rules. Okay, so its official name is the Specialized Child Investment Account. It was created by something called the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. But let's be real, most people are just calling it the Trump account. Now, the best way to get your head around it is to think of it like a hybrid. It takes the very best parts of a retirement account, like a Roth IRA where your money grows completely tax-free, and it combines them with the benefits of a 529 college savings plan. But as you'll see, it's actually even more flexible than both of those combined. Now, these are the features that make this account an absolute powerhouse. First up, tax-deferred growth. What that means is, as your investments make money, you don't pay a dime in capital gains or dividend taxes along the way. That lets it grow way, way faster. Second, the Treasury gets the ball rolling with that $1,000 credit. Third, your family can chip in up to $5,000 every single year. But here it is, the absolute game changer. There is no earned income requirement. See, normally you need to have a job to contribute to something like an IRA. With this, that rule is just gone. Your newborn can literally be an investor from the moment they get a Social Security number. Okay, this is where it gets a little technical, so let's walk through the requirements. You have to check these boxes to see if your child can get that $1,000 seed. Remember, this is a pilot program, so the window for who qualifies is pretty specific. So there are 3 criteria, and they are non-negotiable. First, the birth date. Your child has to be born between January 1st, 2025 and the very end of 2028. Second, they have to be a U.S. citizen. And third, and this is crucial, you need to have a Social Security number for them. You can't even start the process without that SSN. All right, now for the really exciting part. Let's look at how this money can actually grow. Because that first $1,000, that's just the starting gun. You know, in finance, there's this old saying, time in the market is more valuable than timing the market. Well, this account is the perfect example of why that's true. This slide shows 2 completely different paths, 2 different futures. Over on the left, you've got the do-nothing scenario. You take the free grand, and that's it. You don't add another dime. Assuming a pretty average 9% return, that $1,000 alone swells to over $14,000. Hey, that's a decent used car. But look at the right, the aggressive parent scenario. You max out that contribution every year. By the time they turn 18, that account could be worth over $214,000. That's not a used car, that's a college education. That's a down payment on a house. That's life-changing. And this chart just brilliantly illustrates the raw power of compound interest. Just look at that curve. See that little blue area at the bottom? That's the government's seed money and its growth. But that massive green area on top, that's what happens when the family gets involved. That steep, steep climb in the later years. That's exactly what institutional-grade wealth building looks like, and it's now available to everyone. So, you're eligible, you're excited. How do you actually get this money? Let me be clear, the government is not going to just send you a letter in the mail reminding you. You have to be proactive about this. The single most important thing you need to burn into your memory is this form, IRS Form 4547. It's a brand new electronic form, and it was created specifically for this program. It is the only key that unlocks the government's $1,000 deposit. And the process itself? It's actually pretty straightforward, broken down into 3 simple steps. First, you verify you're eligible. That means getting your kid's birth certificate and Social Security card ready. Second, you file that form, 4547, either online or with your 2026 tax return. And third, you claim the deposit. And it gets sent directly to the brokerage account you set up. Easy as that. Now, you have to pay very close attention to this timeline because if you miss this window, you miss the money. It's gone. So get out your calendar and circle July 5th, 2026. That's when the whole thing opens up. And please remember, you can't claim this on your 2025 taxes. It has to be done during the 2026 filing season, which, for that first wave of eligible kids, is going to end in April of 2027. Look, to make this feel less overwhelming, here's the first part of a simple 7-day action plan. Day 1, find that Social Security card. Seriously, don't wait. Day 2, double-check that birth date. Day 3, start looking at brokerages, Fidelity, Vanguard, and see how they're planning to handle these new accounts. And Day 4, do a quick budget audit. Be honest with yourself. Can you realistically contribute anything? It is so important to understand that this is not a piggy bank. There are strict rules on when the money can be touched. For the most part, it's locked up until your kid turns 18. But the law does include 2 huge exceptions. The funds can be pulled out completely tax-free for qualified education expenses, and up to 10 grand can be used for a first-time home purchase. Try to pull it out early for anything else, and you're gonna get hit with a pretty significant penalty. So, when you put it all together, what does this all mean? We're left with a pretty provocative question, right? Could this actually be the single most significant wealth-building tool for the next generation? Because the real play here isn't just about grabbing a free $1,000. It's about using that $1,000 as a zero-cost ticket into the most powerful wealth creation engine on the planet, the stock market. Years from now, your child won't remember the politics of 2026, but you know what they will remember? The power of the 6-figure head start that you had the foresight to give them.